Um, this actually, I got this from my insurance company. Okay, this is your home, guys. Did you know that if you have a basement, there's a drain, there's a floor drain somewhere in your basement. Okay, and look at how that drain, every sewer, anything that's sewer or dirty water will have like a dip like this, a pit, and then go up, and then eventually will find its way to the city sewer. Okay? So your toilet, you flush the toilet, it goes to the city sewer. If you ever have a massive flooding, it will go into this drain, it goes to the sewer. Okay? One thing that most new houses have is what we call a backwater valve. It's right here. What does this do? If there's ever a massive flooding in the city and the city cannot handle the sewer that comes to, you know that all of our sewer goes to like a treatment plant. Did you know that? Like there's water treatment plants. There's one in the north side of the city, somewhere over there, Main Street out, south end. I think we have 3 water treatment plants. So all the nasty water literally gets pumped to them. They clean it through various processes, and then they release it back into the river. That's why I would never go swim in the Red River. I know they say it's clean, sure. But anyways, they clean it as best they can. So anyways, that sewer system, if the city is backed up, if that system, which happened in 1997, I wasn't here, but apparently in 1996, they had this huge snowstorm where like houses were under snow. So when all of that melted, it overwhelmed the city's capacity to handle that water. And some houses, they had like poop coming into their houses. So literally the water comes in here, comes through your toilet. So your toilet is kind of like a fountain. And the drain, like there's nasty poop coming into your basement, flooding your basement. So what the city has done since then is most houses should have this valve there, which is a one-way valve. So if you flush, it opens up. It's a spring-loaded system, like it goes into the city. But if there ever is water coming from the city to your house, it'll close, right? So that's something that I'm trying to figure out if my house has it. I cannot find it yet. If I cannot find it, I will probably hire a plumber to install it, because once it happens, guys, you have no time to act. Like it's just gonna happen. You're just gonna wake up with nastiness, right? So I'm gonna try to get that done. So that's something that you want to kind of check, make sure it's you have it. Okay. Another thing is that the city has done newer houses. They have a sump pump. It used to be that all the water that accumulates under your basement just went into the sewer system. Pay attention to this one. So clean water, like melted water, would mix with sewage and all go to the city. Okay? And the city got overwhelmed by that. So now what we're doing instead is the water that collects, that runs under your basement, gets pumped out into your lawn, right? So it doesn't go into the sewer anymore. These are newer houses, okay? And this is what a sump pump looks like. This is the sump pump system right here, okay? So what does it do? As the water runs down your basement walls, underneath your basement, there's tons and tons of gravel. There's probably this much gravel under your basement, right? Why is it there for? The water can run under it, collect there, and then it slowly runs into a pit, okay? A pit that's like, you will see it in your basement somewhere. And in this pit, every time it fills up with water, this pump will pump it outside your home, okay? And the idea is that it keeps pumping it out. Some of it will evaporate. Some of it will go back down, find its way probably under your basement, and then you pump it out again. So if you keep going with that cycle, some of it will probably start evaporating or run away from your home. So this is a sump pump. Sump pump takes the water from under your house, pumps it away from you don't want it accumulating under your basement, because if it gets full, guess what? It's going to find its way through the wall, between the wall and the floor, and you're going to have a wet basement as well. You don't want that. Okay? So, sump pump is most active during spring rainy season. That's when you're gonna see, I hear it all the time. It's very subtle, but I hear like a boo, like a humming noise. I know it's going, okay? I test it regularly. This is how I test it. This is what it looks like. Somewhere in your basement, you may see something like this. That's a sump pump, okay? Let's go to 82. There are various models of sump pumps. This is blurry, I know, but there's a float. There's literally a thing that just floats on top of the water. And if that float goes up, like as the tank fills, the float goes up, and if it reaches a certain level, it'll turn on the pump. And the pump will pump it out until that float goes back down, and then it will turn off. And it fills up again, it turns on, turns off. That's how it goes. So what you can do, obviously ask your parents for permission, make sure you know where it is and it's safe. I take this float and I lift it up. Like I put my hand in there and I lift it up, and if the pump turns on, I know everything is working as it should, okay? Because these pumps fail all the time, so you need to make sure it works, okay? Another thing I need you to know what it is window wells. Have you seen this before? Like a metal sheet around the window? Yeah, that's called a window well. Which is kind of funny. You're not supposed to have water in there, but wells hold water, right? So it's like, I would say this is more like a water dam. You're not supposed to get water in there. But if you were to do an X-ray, there, straight down here, there's a pipe that goes straight down. So if water ever fills up here, it should run down the drain to the bottom of your basement, into the sump pump, and then away from the home. If that isn't done, if somebody just installed this without a drain, you're going to be in trouble. That water is going to accumulate and go into your windows and mess and damages, okay? So if you have debris in here, if you have leaves that are just built up over the years or dirt, make sure you clean those regularly. Like you clean everything out from that drain so that water can just flow away freely, okay? So I just talked about a sump pump, okay? I talked about window wells, so those are important things to remember. Why are they important? Because if the province ever throws that at you, I want you to know what they're talking about. So if they ever say, hey, what can you do around your house to prevent water damage? You could say, hey, clean window wells regularly. Check your sump pump regularly. Make sure it works. Easy as that. Okay? Can you go to 83? I'm talking a lot about water. Water is like almost as bad as fire, right? Fire and water is like the #1 causes of damage to your home. And water is silent. Fire, you'll find out very quickly something is wrong. Water, sometimes you won't find out until it's way too late, okay? So a couple of things here. When you own your home, make sure, like, this drives me nuts, like, my neighbors, they don't even have this elbow here. They just have just like a straight chute like this. And then every time spring comes or rain, it goes right down here. And I'm imagining it goes right down the house, the side of the walls. So make sure you have an elbow here and you have an extension here of at least 4 to 6 feet. These are called the eaves, right? The chute, you call it whatever you want. But make sure this is long enough away from the home. Otherwise, this water can find its way in and down to your basement. Do you know what that is? Right there? that is called a weeping tile. And this is part of a weeping tile. Okay? I don't know if you can tell, but this pipe is long, like they have a long pipe like this that goes around the whole perimeter of your home. So if you look carefully, there's little holes all over this thing. Okay? So what they do is they excavate the area they're going to pour the basement in. They make the basement. Then they put this at the bottom of the basement. They fill it with gravel, like probably this much. So when it rains, when water melts, it's going to go down the basement wall, through the gravel, into this, right? And this is connected under your floor in your basement. They have like a T-joint, right? They have a thing here that spreads this out so the water runs under your basement to the sump pit and eventually be pumped out with a sump pump. Okay, so this is a weeping tile. Okay, old houses, they made these out of ceramic. They made it out of ceramic or like a tile. So sometimes these got crushed. Like when they filled it with gravel, they got crushed. You'll never find out, so water cannot flow. So they came up with these plastic ones that are a lot more durable. They don't break, and they basically last forever, right? So this is a weeping tile. I'm going to pass it around if you want to see what a weeping tile looks like. You can pass it around. Yeah, go ahead. So that's what that is, guys, right there. That is like a hose running all around your basement. One more thing. Inspecting your roof. Guys, this happened to my house. Okay? This is not a picture of my roof, but this happened to me. I went up on the roof. I go up there once a year for sure. And I saw that one of the shingles was flipped over. Okay? What do you see there? You see that? Exposed nails. And that's how water can come into your basement, weakening the structure. Maybe you lose even more shingles down the road. Okay? So, anyways, that would be, and do you see this curling effect here, the curling of the corners? That is a sign that you probably have to replace your roof very soon. And some people like to wait because they want to save a couple $1,000s, because roofing costs $10,000, $12,000. I would not wait. If I start seeing this, it's telling you that the whole roof is going to be bad soon. And then you, of course, you see a really bad one here. Just replace it. Like, you're going to have to do it anyways. Replace it. Get a loan if you have to, but don't let it damage your house. Okay? This is what the attic looks like. This is literally what an attic. If your attic doesn't have this much insulation in it, which is about, if I stepped into my attic, it should be up to here with insulation. Don't step on it. I'm just saying that's how, like, you can kind of put your arm in it and see how deep it is. Then you should probably top up your insulation in the attic, because you lose a lot of heat in the winter, or you lose a lot of cold in the summer, okay, if this is not insulated properly. Another thing that you need to watch out for is ice damming. This usually happens when there's a lot of ice building up at the eaves right here. That's why I suggest you raking off, like rake off about 2 to 3 feet on the edges when it starts to get warmer, so that this can all melt freely and run away. Okay? These are actually pictures I took on my way to work. I stopped. Don't panic. Don't freak out now. It's like, oh, you're texting and driving. I stopped, but this is what I saw on my way to work, to Sisler. Okay? Houses where this is happening, that's not a good sign. It should not be happening. Tell me another reason why this could be happening. Why would that be happening perhaps? Could there be something in there, in the eaves, that shouldn't be there? What happens every fall? Leaves. Sometimes these things are packed with leaves, packed. So you gotta clean that in the fall after the leaves have dropped. You should probably clean it before the winter starts. Okay? That's very important. That's why it's probably clogging up. Because if you have leaves mixed with water, it's never gonna melt. It's gonna like stay there for a long, long time. Okay? There's the raking right there that I was talking about. You can probably get a rake like this for like under $100, and you have it for life, right? But rake off any accumulation on the edges. I would rake that off to help the process of melting. Okay. Here's your furnace. You don't need the details of a furnace. I think what I just want you to know is replace your filters regularly. That is a preventative maintenance item. If you don't change these regularly, guys, your furnace is working harder because you're gonna say, I want it to be 22 degrees in here. It's gonna try really hard, but if this is clogged, you just can't get air through it, right? So your furnace is gonna work harder. You're gonna lose money on heating because guess what? Your furnace is still burning fuel, but it's not able to heat the house efficiently. So you're going to lose money on heating. You're going to lose money because your furnace is going to die sooner. Okay? So make sure you replace them every 2 to 3 months is recommended. This is something that a lot of people miss. Cleaning your air conditioning units. Has anybody ever seen someone clean those? I don't think so. I didn't even know this until the last couple of years. I've been doing that regularly. These on the side of your, you know how an air conditioning works, guys? There's a fan on the top here. It draws air in from the sides through these fins, and that's basically what cools your house. So if these fins that are really, really, really fine get clogged up with debris and it just gets gunked up. You can tell here with dust and debris. You need to clean that regularly. Watch a YouTube video. They show you how to do it. Please turn off the power. I don't know if you see that here. Most furnaces have like a main power breaker here. Turn that off. Make sure it's safe. Open up the cap with a hose very gently. You don't want to go pressure washer style. You want to, from the inside, you want to kind of rinse it going out, right? And what I do is I get, there's a spray. It's right here. You can buy it at Canadian Tire. It's a foaming spray that you first spray everything with. It really gets in between all that. It's kind of like greasy as well sometimes. It's kind of sticky, greasy, all this stuff. So this foam, if you spray all around, it really gets in there, loosens any of the dirt, and then you rinse it. And you will save on energy. You will make your AC last longer. Okay? So all those things are also preventative maintenance items you can do. I know you're loving this. I know. I promise I'm done after this one. This is your water heater. This is called, some people call this a diaper for the water heater. Basically what happens a lot is that these water heaters, they corrode on the inside, and then you get a crack, and then water starts leaking. Some people have gone to work, they've come back home, and they come home to the whole basement going, it's all wet. Because if there's a hole in this thing, there's nothing stopping it. If you put this tray around it with a little hose that goes towards the drain, if this ever were to burst, yes, you will lose a lot of money in water, but it will run away and not damage your house, which is huge. So this is something you should be looking for. because that is something that can prevent a lot of damage. Yes. Yes, I will start with an AC